Just a little evolution post. I was interviewing with the company about 7 months ago, 6 months ago, and eh, hit it off with the hiring manager, and then hopped on a call with two guys and the hiring manager, and it was a group interview for this interview, and it was amazing. There were like 10 people on it. They all chose me. It was insane. I prepped so hard for that interview, but there was one guy out of the three. So there were three people, two were guys, one was a girl. The girl was great, met with her first. One of the guys was, he was chill compared to this last guy. This last guy was just an absolute piece of work. And I was like, damn, I see why you guys are having a hard time hiring and keeping people and growing and getting to where you want to go. Because this person who's in leadership is a piece of shit. Like he's a piece of shit human being. Like he should not be in business. Like what is going on? Let alone leadership, right? He needs a hard wake up call for sure. So, and it's so scary because thank God this company that I work at now, there's another piece of shit at this company, but he's not in a direct leadership role. He's in an indirect leadership role, but he's an absolute disgusting piece of shit. Um, and I can see how when people are in positions of leadership, like in the chain of command, their piece of shitness like trickles down and it makes everyone else's life hell. Um, so I ended up declining that. Thank God that I got picked up by the company that I work for now, because that was like my second option. And it's disgusting to even compare the two, because the company I work at now is fucking amazing, regardless of the video I just posted before this, which is related to that. Just venting. Still a great company though. But well, this company that I interviewed with hit me up, said, "Hey, we'd love to interview you again. We're looking for, to fill in the position. You're already on record. You're already on file. We loved you. We'd love to see if you'd be open to it." I made it super clear. I made it super clear because this shit pissed me off. That I am not going to come over for the same or even a little bit of more pay, because the way this role works is you get your money in like 3 to 4 month cycles. Yes, you get a base, but the good pay comes after the client cycles, which for them was 3 months. So for 3 months, I would be taking the same or more pay. But then right now, I'm about to swing into renewals, right? Which I'm about to get really, really good pay, hopefully. Um, so not only would I miss out, so basically they would have to pay me more, right? Because even if you paid me more, I would still be losing out on the renewals I'm about to get. So you'd be paying me more for 3 months, and then I would finally be, in that renewal phase. So I told them my expectations. This is how much I need minimum to come over. The hiring manager agreed, and then the director of client success agreed. So I said, okay, let's meet. We meet, and we have a first interview, and it goes great. We schedule a second interview. The second interview, we start off, and it's like it's more commitment language on the front. So I go, hey, yep, just as long as we're still clear, right? Because he's like asking me like, what do I need to come over? And I'm like, just as long as we're still clear, the comp is this, correct? Like that was mentioned in an email that you both confirmed on. That was mentioned in the first call that you confirmed on. Now we're on the second call, just making sure that we're still confirming, because I'm not about to go through 5 interviews and you say this is the pay, right? Let's get this out of the way because I told y'all up front. And he goes, yep. And then as we're going through the interview, he reveals that it's not that. And I go, dude, let's stop the process then. I said up front what I needed. You both agreed. Then we had a first call. You agreed. Now we're on the second call, and now we're finally running into like, that's real shitty, you know? And it's funny because it just gets worse. The call eventually ends with him like trying to guilt and shame trip me. Um, oh, you're just focused on comp. Oh, dude, are you fucking retarded? I'm in a position. Like, what, what do you mean I'm just focused on comp? Okay, you fucking retard. Let's have you go take another role where they pay you less. Would you do that? No. So then what the fuck are you shame tripping and guilt tripping me for? Like you can eat one. You know what I'm saying? Like you fuck it. Like I would smack the fuck out of this dude if I saw him. Like this shit's retarded. So their lack of qualification got them in the position that they're in, and then they want to shame me and guilt me. So me and some buddies were talking about this, and we've just blacklisted this company because like fucking retarded, because super sketchy vibes and a really piece of shit person in leadership from the first time. Then this new guy who's completely new to this company, by the way. I thought he was amazing. I was wrong. Absolute fucking dumpster fire of a fucking. He doesn't know how to do business. So, and it's so funny because it reminds me of how I used to sell, which was I would be so focused on closing people that I wouldn't qualify them. And then I would shame and guilt trip them into closing, right? Because everyone knows the program. If you've been in high ticket, I'm not going to say his name, but everyone knows this program and who I'm talking about, where you would just shame and guilt trip people, and it would be war and objection handling to just like fucking get people to close. And you would just use identity and responsibility and guilt and shame. And that's not what they called it. It was identity and responsibility, but it was 100% guilt and shame to get people to buy. And it's just disgusting looking at it now. Like I took so much pride in it at the moment. It's retarded. It's the dumbest shit ever, because now I realize that it just like preys off of people that are in that state, right? But but the point of this video is it's so great because it's a personal moment of evolution. Because at the end he was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna cut it," and I'm like, "What do you mean we're just gonna cut it? Like I told you at the very front what I needed. We're not cutting anything. You lied. You failed to be honest. You failed to disclose. Like we're not cutting any. Like even if you were to want to bring me on, which they wanted, I just kept going back to comp. Like, hey, so what's the comp then? And then they finally got real, and I'm like, okay, let's have a conversation around how that can look then. And he's like, no, you're just gonna have to trust me. And I'm like, what? No, this isn't about. I don't not trust you. What I'm saying is, if you want me to come over, I'm willing to take less pay for 3 months as long as we can. Because he kept saying, and it's so funny. He pulled up this fucking doc, and he's like, yeah, this is the new structure. And I'm like, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, but this isn't what you just told me. So this math doesn't add up to me actually being able to make more money. He's like, oh yeah, it's an old doc. Like don't disregard it. And I'm like, okay, you're just not prepared. Like you're just not prepared, and you're getting mad and trying to shame and guilt trip me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you retarded? So he is retarded. Um, so so then he's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to trust me on the numbers though. And I'm like, no, I don't not trust you. Like, let's just run a number exercise, a math exercise based off of like clients, how much they pay and stuff like that, so that we can determine 3 months from now, if I did join you guys, that I would be able to make X amount of money. No, you're just gonna have to trust me. Dude, no, I don't not trust you. I don't need to even, he's like, I'm not gonna go show you the back end numbers. I don't even need to see he just kept saying all this stuff that I wasn't even asking for. I'm like, dude, you're not listening. You're not listening. So, but I wasn't saying all that. I was actually just cool with it. And it's so amazing to me in my personal evolution and journey and in growth, because I didn't feel rejected. I felt like you guys are not a good fit for me. Which before I would always be like so aware that people were not a good fit for me, but I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as, what can I do to be a good fit for you, regardless of how not aligned with me it is. And it's so great because I didn't do that this time. And I didn't feel hurt. I was just like he was using that language, like disqualifying language, and I'm just in my head, I'm like, okay, buddy, like I'm not disqualified. Like I'm overqualified. You're trying to disqualify me. And then he kept going, you're just so focused on comp, and like, we want people who are like really hungry. And I'm like, okay, you want people who are really hungry. You mean you want people who are broke and people who are willing to take shit pay? and work with shit leadership and just be okay with that, that's what you want, buddy. Don't don't try to fucking guilt trip me and shame trip me. Like, don't be a fucking punk. Like, do as a bitch. And so it's just funny. It's just super funny, like the evolution I'm making. Um, like it's so funny, man. I'm seeing why people are just not successful in business, and it's crazy because this company does millions of dollars a month, and it's just like, uh, but it's so funny because everyone in the space speaks badly about the company, and it's just like, how are you not aware of that? How are you not taking that into consideration? How are you not seeing that you're the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't keep people. Like, dude, they wanted like each each person to have like a book of business of around like 250 people. And I'm like, there's no way you guys are providing quality care. Like, and this is actually a problem that I'm seeing, is that client success is now the new closer, where companies would just expect so much out of them that it would just like cause too much friction and it would break that department. That used to be the front end. Now companies are realizing the importance of the middle, which is the renewal, not the acquisition, but the retention. And they're putting so much friction on the retention, even the front end. Like, they're setting the retention team up for failure because they overpromise. And now we have to deal with an unhappy client for our client's life cycle, whether that's 90 days, 120 days, whatever it is, and then they're not going to renew. So not only do they have a bad experience, but they didn't renew. So you just wasted my time because you just sent someone through the pipeline based off of false expectations. So now there's nothing I can do to earn this person's business again. And sure, sometimes you can, but that's not the point. The point is just be honest, be truthful. And if you can't close people off of that, don't put that on us by lying so that you can get paid and now we have to deal with someone who's unhappy, because then this causes friction. And now it's like, oh, we can't keep CSMs. And it's like, well, you can't keep CSMs because the front end's lying. And the front end has to lie because the offer's not good enough. And the offer's not good enough because the owner is not, you see what I'm saying? But then basically people are just not taking responsibility for their role. And when you do that, it will add friction. The friction will end up somewhere, right? Like the business, right? The friction, it doesn't just dissipate into thin air. It has to go somewhere in the company. And right now it's on the client success team. And I can see why, right? Um, that like, but yeah. Anyways, so adding too large a book of business, like people will be like, hey, let's get you to 100 clients. Like, you understand that someone's ability to deliver quality service becomes harder and harder the more clients they have, right? So it's yeah. So yeah, this video is just about evolution and me not feeling personally rejected by this fucking retard who interviewed me and lied on the front end. And it just reminded me of my own sales tactics and philosophy and principles, and that I used to deploy years ago through this one program. Um, it's just so funny. It's like, what a fucking retard. Like, I would just not qualify in hopes that you would close, and then I would be mad at you for not closing. And then that would be my closing strategy. And it's just like, just qualify. Like, on the front end, this company, what they should have done was, hey, that is not inside of our compensation structure. I understand compensation is important to you, but the range that you're looking at is not included in the base, which is what you're asking for. Now, it's included in the OTE, the on target earnings, and we can have a conversation about that if you're open to that. But I just want to be upfront and forthright with you, because if that's what you're asking about, right, and that's qualifying. And then if I say no, then we wouldn't have had a first interview, a second interview. He wouldn't have guilt tripped and shame tripped me because he felt like I was wasting his time, yet he wasted his own time because he's a fucking retard and he doesn't know how to qualify. So it's just like, it's shit like that. Like people are creating the problems that they have. He was looking at me as the problem, but he created the problem by being a fucking liar. I was completely clean and upfront and honest about what I was looking for. They hit me up, hey, no, I need this minimum as a base, not OTE. I never said OTE. the receipts on fucking email, and they both confirmed and sent me through. And it's like, okay. Then we had call one, and then I restated it again. I need this much of a base. Yep, we can do that. Okay. Call two, right? Hey, Paul, before you come on board, like, yep, let me get clear. As long as the base is what you said on the front end, on the first call, we're good. Now I'm not going to come on, but that's what I need to even think about coming on. Once that's taken care of, now I can look at, right? I can look at, let's talk about the culture. Let's talk about my abilities and shit like that. But the first thing that we need to get out of the way is that, because then there's no point, right? So yeah, I didn't feel rejected at all, not even the slightest. I felt like that dude was a fucking retard, which he was. But but yeah, it's just it's amazing the growth and evolution that I'm making, because that is not how I would have reacted to that situation. That is not how I would have felt about that situation. So like the unobservable, like inside my internal state was just amazing, because I've been through situations like that before where my unobservable, my internal state would be completely different. So it's singing a new tune now, and it's just it's awesome because I'm growing. So, chew.